We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
23.
Hey, what's up you guys? This is Steffi, aka In My Humble Opinion, and welcome back to another IMHO Film Club movie review. So in honor of the Aladdin live adaptation movie that just came out this past weekend, and you know, if you haven't already seen my review of it, definitely click up here in the pinned comment down below to watch it. I thought it would be worth revisiting the 1992 animated version of Aladdin. So Aladdin is an animated movie again, and there were a lot of voice actors in it. You have Scott Wanger as the speaking voice of Aladdin, you have Linda Larkin as the speaking voice of Princess Jasmine, you have Brad Kane as the singing voice of Aladdin, and my Filipino queen, Miss Lea Salonga, Broadway legend, as the singing voice of Princess Jasmine. And then of course you have Jonathan Freeman as the voice of Jafar, Gilbert Gottfried as the voice of Iago, and the iconic, classic comedy legend, period, Robin Williams as the voice of the genie. And the movie was directed by Ron Clements and John Musker, and they also directed another one of my personal favorite Disney animated movies, and that's Hercules. So, synopsis, in case you didn't already know. Aladdin is a buddy comedy fantasy adventure that follows a street rat named Aladdin who falls in love with Princess Jasmine after a chance meeting. However, there's only one problem, and that problem is that she can only marry a prince, and she has to marry him in 3 days. So after Aladdin unknowingly gets coaxed by the evil Jafar to obtain the magic lamp from the Cave of Wonders, he meets a genie who can grant Aladdin 3 wishes. And from that point on, the adventure begins. So as in all my movie reviews, I'm going to be talking about the pros, the cons, and then I'm going to be giving my overall rating. So here we go. Alright, my first pro of this movie is obviously Robin Williams. So Robin Williams, again, is the voice of the genie, and he brings such a larger-than-life personality to that character. He's undeniably funny, he is so fast, his comedy could not be contained. I think that's why he was just the perfect fit for the genie, because even though, you know, the genie, he lives in that lamp, there's not a lot of space in there, he has a personality that, like, quite literally also cannot be contained. He's constantly shape-shifting and transforming into all these different personas. Therefore, there is like a freedom to that character. And Robin Williams also just brings that sense of jubilant, spontaneous freedom to that character to the point where it's like the animators have to keep up with him. I also just love Robin Williams' style of comedy that he brought to the genie. It's such like a modern pop culture centric sensibility to it. After Aladdin makes his first wish, there's a moment when the genie transforms into Arsenio Hall, and as a kid, like, I'm sure that reference just like flew by over my head, but watching it now as an adult, I was like, oh my god, that is so funny. So there's lots of moments like that when you're watching the genie. My second pro of this movie is the Cave of Wonders sequence. I probably should have done a little bit more homework and researching like exactly what kind of techniques they were using, but I believe the technique that they used specifically during the magic carpet sequence in the Cave of Wonders is the same technique that they used during the ballroom sequence in Beauty of the Beast. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. I just love the way that the Cave of Wonders is animated. Exterior of the cave itself, it looks so like big and scary, and then when they get inside the Cave of Wonders, like I love the color palette of it. And then the sequence specifically of Aladdin once he's on the magic carpet ride with Abu and they're trying to get out of the cave as soon as possible, that entire thing is so enthralling. I feel like the way that they animated that sequence made me feel like I was on a Disney ride. It was just a lot of fun. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat, and I definitely remember as a kid that particular Cave of Wonders sequence always sticking out for me because it was just so well done. Alright, third pro to this movie is the music. So all the music in the original 1992 movie was composed by Alan Menken with lyrics by Howard Ashman and Tim Rice. I feel like the music in this movie is so good. One Jump is such a good first song for this movie because I feel like it captures the essence of who Aladdin is as a character. And then you have Friend Like Me, which is the first genie song that we get from Robin Williams. Then you have like Prince Ali. It's so high energy and it's such a big number. And then you have the iconic A Whole New World. That is the ultimate Disney love song for me. So well performed by Brad Kane and Lea Salonga. If you guys haven't seen this already, I highly suggest you go on YouTube, like pause this video right now and search on YouTube when they were actually recording A Whole New World in the studio, because there is footage of them recording it back in 1992 and it's so cute. Also, like, you know what? A little trivia. This song actually won the Oscar for Best Original Song back in 1993, I believe. Unfortunately, it beat out Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing. I just have to bring that up because I'm a huge Whitney Houston stan. What a great group of songs. Alright, my fourth pro to this movie is the chemistry of the characters. So I feel like they did a really great job with capturing the friendship between Aladdin and Genie. And not even just like Aladdin and Genie, like Aladdin and Carpet. Carpet is the low-key MVP of that movie because he literally saved Aladdin several times. Obviously, Aladdin and Abu have really great moments in this movie as well. As far as Aladdin and Genie is concerned, like, you do get the sense that they are friends. And Genie even says it himself that he's like particularly fond of Aladdin, which I guess is rare for Genie because he normally doesn't like who his masters are. And then of course, as far as chemistry is concerned, Aladdin and Jasmine as two animated characters, like, I know this is like really weird, but they have really great chemistry as well. Disney has a reputation for telling these stories of these characters who manage to fall in love within a matter of like days. But as far as Aladdin and Jasmine are concerned, like, I believe that these two characters fell in love with each other in a matter of days. And lastly, my fifth pro of this movie is the theme of freedom and free will. For a kids animated movie, I think it's really interesting that this movie is introducing kids to such a complex idea. And they do like a reasonably good job with exploring what freedom means to different characters. So for example, with Aladdin, he feels trapped in this circle of poverty. Jasmine feels trapped by the traditions of royalty. And for Genie, he feels literally trapped in a lamp, and he is trapped in this cycle of being in service to other people. And throughout the movie, of course, you see these characters go about searching for their freedom in different ways. And in that search for freedom, they're forced into situations where they're challenging their identities, their moral codes, their sense of self. And then all of this ultimately ties at the very end of the movie when Aladdin keeps his promise and grants Genie his freedom. Alright, so the cons. My first con of this movie is that I would have appreciated a little more of a developed backstory for Aladdin. We hear that Aladdin doesn't have any parents anymore, but it would have been nice to like hear what did happen to your parents. And originally there was actually supposed to be a song that Aladdin would sing called Proud of Your Boy. It was cut from the animated version, but they actually brought it back for the Broadway musical. So if you haven't heard that song, go listen to it because it's so beautiful. But in that song, they reference Aladdin's mother. My second part of this movie is I still do not understand why Aladdin was considered the diamond in the rough. Essentially, Jafar had this hourglass and he asked the hourglass filled with sand to show him who the diamond in the rough is. And then they show Aladdin. But I would have loved to have learned why Aladdin is considered the diamond in the rough. Because Aladdin is the diamond in the rough, that's why the Cave of Wonders was able to stay open, and that's why Aladdin was able to get the magic lamp. It snowballs into the rest of the movie, and I feel like there should have been a little bit more of an explanation there. And my third obvious con of this movie is that unfortunately they did not cast people of color to voice these characters. Based on what I've researched, Agrabah, which is where Aladdin takes place, is thought to be in a Middle Eastern region, so it would have been great to have Middle Eastern voice actors actually voice these characters. But, you know, I mean, not to give it an excuse, but it is important to put it in the context that this is the 90s, so I don't really think the industry was thinking in that way, but it would have been great to have hired voice actors from the Middle East, because I'm sure there's tons of talented Middle Eastern voice actors and actresses. Alright, so overall rating for animated Aladdin is an A-. So Aladdin is such a fun movie. It's very nostalgic for me, both the movie and the music. As a kid, Princess Jasmine was one of those princesses that I just really liked because she actually had a bit of sass to her, and you know, she was brown, so I was like, oh yeah, girl. I also just like really loved Aladdin as a kid. I mean, who didn't love Aladdin as a kid? You know what I mean? Watching this movie made me miss Robin Williams. Like, oh my gosh, he was such a comedic genius, and you know, it's really sad that we don't have him anymore. I was born in 1993, so this movie and all the other Disney movies that came out of the 90s, the Renaissance era of Disney, that's really, for me, like when I think of Disney, that's what I think of. It's these movies. And Aladdin is part of that Renaissance era of Disney, and it was history making. It was a period of time when Disney's animated movies were commercially and critically crushing it. So it was a very large part of my childhood, and I had so much fun getting to rewatch this again in preparation for the live action adaptation. And alright, that's about it for this video. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and please turn on the notification button down below so you know when a new video from me comes out. And comment down below your thoughts on the Disney animated version of Aladdin. What's your favorite song? Who's your favorite character? Let me know in the comment section below, because I'd love to talk Disney with y'all. Alright, well, as always, everything I said was just my own personal thoughts and all my humble opinion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!